You just stumbled upon JK'z Rewatchable Hour.
I used to like you, John.
He wanted me to send you a gallon.
No. The funny thing about that, Becky and John, was Jen. I didn't know Jen knew about it, and I'm on the floor with Dozer making videos because I thought I ordered something, and as soon as I opened, I'm like, fucking mail, and I'm like, who the hell is Janelle? And then I'm like, oh, son of a bitch.
I figured I should clue her in because, you know, I wrote Love Janelle and put hearts on it. I'm like, yeah.
It would have been better with the gallon jug.
Jen, no. So, Jen, that's John. That's Becky's. Okay.
She met John once, the poor thing.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
She doesn't want to meet me again.
Okay, the moist maker is ready. Hold on.
Yep, the moist maker just messaged.
Yep.
Oh.
No. There we are. Damn it! I almost did it again. I almost added,
Steve.
Yeah, again. Damn it! So I gotta show. I'm recording, so I gotta show off the merch here. Yeah.
Cool.
Look at that. Some merch. I am sporting the new shirt today, and look at this. This is why I hate technology. Look at what my old phone is doing. It decided to update itself. Hey, George.
That's awesome. I love the update.
I only use this phone for music, like if I want to do videos and stuff, and it's updating itself.
Lap dances don't count.
Oh.
So, George, I don't know if you've ever met my wife, Jen. Depending on where you're looking, she's obviously the other one with the red shirt. She's not Becky.
He knows who I am. That's for sure.
Wow. Yes, she was on the trivia show.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. And so, how's everybody doing tonight?
Not too bad.
Sore.
Good. Jen is outside sitting around red ants. I don't know why. So
he's screaming about something.
If we sit in the same, or if we're in the house and we try to do this together, the show, there's too much playback. So I had to kick her out.
Oh.
But I got the dog. That's my money ticket. That's my meal ticket right there. He's gonna get me to $100,000 a year.
Okay.
I should do more videos with Honey. She's already got her own page.
You should. I made a video of Dozer barking at me for 22 seconds. It got over 10,000 views and like 400 likes. I don't know.
You get the jar of mail involved. It'd be funny as shit.
Oh, hey, John, I got a shirt coming for you, so be on the lookout for that.
Okay?
Yeah.
I don't need any mail, man. I'm already lubed up. The maggots and flies don't work with my ass.
No, I thought I would just send along some salami.
You're gonna get yourself in trouble.
So Jen, did you watch the last show of Who Said It, Who Did It?
No.
Okay, so one of the reason why I just said the salami was because one of the questions was
Here we go again.
Who do you think said what you don't like your salami smoked? And everybody instantly said it was George, and George's reaction was like when it was really Becky. So so you guys have notes for tonight? You guys all prepared?
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Huh? I'm wearing my shirt. I'm doing Molly's pump thing, so I'm like in and out for a couple more seconds.
No, we got you. So before we start the show, obviously my co-host, which everybody's a co-host, everybody's part of the show, but original member, Craig, he is still out with a back injury. He is going to go see another specialist soon to hopefully figure out what is wrong with his back. I wanted to give him just a quick shout out. He's just in a constant pain, and again, him sitting upright trying to do a show is not what's best for his back. So. But he will be back. So everybody just send a good wish to Craig.
All right, Craig.
So.
Hey, Craig.
We miss you.
So, all right, Becky, are you all set? You all good?
I still gotta fill it, but I'm right here, so I'll just move
Perfect.
the phone with me. So
All
my
right.
kitchen's not that huge. I can actually slide for a minute.
And I hope George is wearing pants because he's moving pretty freely. So
What?
all right. What's that?
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
You're all right. So look at my phone. My other phone was off and it started itself. So anyways. All right, ladies and gentlemen. It is our weekly show of JK'z Rewatchable Hour. We are joined, as always, by Miss Becky Chirwalk, Mr. George Muzzy, Mr. Salami, and of course my wife Jennifer. How you all doing today?
Good.
Yeah, I'm great with the camera. Can you see? Okay.
Oh boy! All right.
I have not been
today's-
drinking.
that we know of.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you're all wearing the shirts. I am wearing the new shirt from our wonderful, terrific t-shirt makers, imprint makers. They do these shirts. They're awesome. They love us. So we're gonna be ordering more from them as well. So as you all know, tonight's show is bad experiences, good experiences with establishments. It doesn't matter what it is. Are you guys all set?
Yep.
Sure.
Becky, keep your clothes on.
I'll try. It's hard.
All right. So, we're going to talk about some of the bad experiences and good experiences that we've had going to establishments. As we have said, if it's a local establishment, just don't really say the name. If it's a good review, say their name. Because I don't think anybody's ever going to get mad at a good review. And like I told George earlier, I do not do well in prison, so I don't really want to, do a nickel for, bad publicity. So, anyways, all right. So I'm going to put George on the spot. George, give me one instant where you had a bad experience.
Okay, so a home improvement store. I went in to get something to fix our water going into our toilet, and I took the part. And the guy was busy talking to someone else. And then when he looked at what I had in my hand, he said, "I have nothing that'll help you with that." And like he didn't want to talk to me. I went down the road to the other home improvement store. The guy came out from behind the counter, came out, grabbed the part, the exact same part in his hand. But at the other place, I had the replacement part in my hand. The guy said, "That won't work." The guy handed me the exact same part. The other guy just didn't want to talk to me. Pep Sales was the place that got me the good part.
I like how
I can't, yeah. So the other place didn't help me at all.
I get that. Jen, what's one bad experience with an establishment you had?
Went to a steakhouse thinking I ordered a steak, it was going to be good, and it came out and it was about the size of, I don't even know, a hamburger. That it was thin, and they put it down and the baked potato was bigger than the steak, and I wanted to know if it was coming in two parts because it's a steakhouse and it just stunk for the price that I was charged for it. So
how much did you pay for it?
maybe like $28-30.
Yeah. Obviously, we're not going to say a particular establishment when we give a bad review, but I remember when she ordered it and they set it down in front of her, and it also came with 4 small shrimp, and I literally was like, I was like, what the fuck is that? But we're not going to say. And then of course, like the price. For me, I think when you pay any amount of you want to get the portion for your money. Am I wrong or am I right?
Yeah, you're
Right.
right.
Yeah. And trust me, I was like, fuck that. But no, yeah, it was not. Yeah, it was. And she's not lying. The baked potato
No,
was bigger than this.
we did go back there and I did order the strip steak again, and it had improved. So I don't know if it was a weekday, so they were just giving you the scraps on the weekday, but
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
So, Becky, tell me one bad experience.
Well, it wasn't at a chain restaurant. I'll say the name of the chain, but I won't give the location. It was actually at Denny's. We were there with the kids. John and I were there with the kids, and the kids were hungry, and Molly was getting her blood sugar was starting to dip a little bit. So we're giving her fruit snacks at the table, and we're waiting around, and the waitress had given us our drinks, and she took our order, and people are coming in, and they're getting their food, and our food's not coming, and it's like going on close to an hour here, and I'm like, hello. And we finally got the waitress flag down, and she was too busy talking to everybody. She's like, oh, I forgot to put your slip in.
Oh,
Meanwhile, my kids are starving, and at the time, neither one had been diagnosed with autism, so it was just seemed like bratty kids at the time. And I didn't get anything to eat. John didn't get anything to eat. The kids got their food. They threw my food half cooked into a freaking takeout container, and I didn't pay. We just walked out. I was like, I am never going back, and I won't even go to any other Denny's because that was such a bad experience. It's just it put a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, if we drive by there, I just like think of the nasty food that they packed away for me. I'm like, no.
And this particular establishment is still standing, knowing what I know of John. He didn't come back and blow it up.
No. Even knowing the people that he knew working there too. The waitress knew him, and she was talking to him and was all excited because she hadn't seen him in a few years, and she's talking away, and nope, she just forgot our slip for over an hour, and I'm like,
wow.
Ooh. I'm like, no.
I cocked her later.
what?
He said he cocked her later.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear him.
Oh boy.
Not in a good fucking way, because I know her parents. They were not fucking happy.
Yeah, he gave her a hard time later. He didn't literally cock her, okay? Okay. Look on your
face. Staying with bad experiences, I chose one actually about like 45 minutes ago because I'm really unprepared. And it's kind of a long story, but you have to. I have to tell it like this so you understand why it's actually hilarious and a very bad experience. So when Jen and I decided to go on our honeymoon to Maine, I said, don't worry. I just saw this perfect location. It's a quarter mile away from the beach. It's well within our budget. Da 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 da. So we're driving to Maine, right? Day after we got married. And the surrounding area, like everything was allegedly in walking distance, and I love seafood, so blah 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 blah. We get to Maine, Ogunquit, I think that's what it's called. I can't pronounce it. And we're driving through this really, really rich section. Okay, I'm thinking like, holy crap! I booked something extravagant. But if you look at the GPS, it's getting smaller and smaller like this. And I said, how come I have a feeling when we get to the end of this GPS, it's going to be a dump? Sure enough, I pull into this roundabout type place, and I don't remember the name of it, but there was no view. I said, okay, well, let's just try to make the most of it. I go in to talk to the person who was having family visitation day because I'm knocking on the door, and apparently, is that?
There's a tractor going by.
Oh, gotcha. So he got mad at me because I interrupted family time, and I'm like, hi, I'm Joe Foch. I'm here to check in, da-da-da-da-da. He did not know that we were coming, and so I was getting dirty looks from the wife, and I'm like, holy shit, we just drove 6 hours, whatever. And so he gives us the key to our room. Now, the pictures that when I booked this place, it did not do justice, okay? We unlock it. As soon as we walk in, it was that shitty indoor-outdoor green carpet. And the one thing that Becky and George don't know about me, when you walk into my house, if it's wet, snowy, rainy, muddy, take your shoes off, right? I took my socks off, and they instantly turned black.
Ooh.
So wow. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah. So we go and check out the bathroom, and it did not have a shower head. It just had a fucking spigot. Okay. It looked like somebody gave a 5-year-old a cock gun and said, "Here, go cock everything." It was such a dump. Hold on.
The bed
gets better. Yes. The bed, I don't know, it was slanted like this. And I'm just like, what the fuck, right? But we kind of make the most of that first night. The next day, the worker was cleaning rooms. We go in our room, and I'm like, I'm gonna go get fresh towels. I knock on the next door, and apparently I woke her up from her nap because she opened the door like this, like, yeah. I was like, could I just get some extra towels? She's like, you want me to clean your room? I'm like, no, we don't want you in our room. I'm just gonna take some more towels. You want me to bring you towels? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna take them. So I take towels. I go back in our room. I don't know why, but I decided to sit in this 1970 style chair. I was scared. I looked down, and there's friggin' a pill under our bed. And I had said, hey, Jen, did you drop a pill? She's like, no, it's not mine. So I don't know if she was like popping pills in our room or whatever. And I'm thinking, like, how could this get any worse? But wait, it gets worse. We're out all day, whatever. And I'm like, hey, I know you don't like swimming. Why don't we go sit by the pool? It's kind of hot out, da-da-da-da. So this grandmother who's watching about 4 or 5 brats, Jen and I are sitting on the edge of the pool. We just got our legs in the pool. He's coming over wanting to splash, and I'm like, don't do that. And he's like, I'm going to splash, and I'm like, yeah, then my wife's going to kill you, but whatever. Nobody's watching this little 3-year-old girl over here by herself, and you know how there's steps that go into the pool? She almost slips and falls. So finally they leave, and I just go for a little swim, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? I'm like, hey, let's go shower, let's go to dinner, whatever. As I'm going back to the room, the same kid that wanted to splash Jen comes up to me and goes, excuse me, sir, do you have a Band-Aid? I said, I do not. Why? He goes, I was just swimming in the pool, and I was bleeding from my feet, and I didn't realize it. And I'm like, holy shit. So wait, hold on. So we go to dinner and whatever, and we stop and we get some firewood, and we pay an outrageous price, whatever.
$30.
And I said, hey,
6 logs.
yeah. And I said, hey, why don't we go sit out by the fire? And I went out, and there was a couple people there. They were really cool. So I said, come on, Jen, they're really cool. We're sitting down, we're having a beer, wine, whatever, don't matter. Guess whose fucking parents are sitting at the fireplace with us? The goddamn kid that was bleeding in the friggin' pool. Yeah, so talk about a disastrous 24-hour. It was yeah. So and this is vodka, by the way.
Hey,
All right. So Becky, give me a good example of a. Oh, by the way, and we never talked to anybody else in the establishment. I think I just threw the key to the person when we left. I didn't care. It was,
they gave us an option. We changed rooms, but
yeah,
it was
a small upgrade.
a little better.
Not good. Not good. So Becky, give me a story of a positive, good experience you had at an establishment.
positive. See, this is not that long ago. I was playing around on TikTok like we all do, and you see the filters that they have, and they had the ginger filter. And back a few months ago, you probably saw it. I put the ginger filter on, and everyone was like, "Oh wow, that looks good," and I'm like, "It's a filter," you know. But the color looked really nice on me, so I was like, "Hmm." So I go online and I order something that looks close, but I'm impatient because this is coming from Amazon and it's not the 1 or 2 day shipping. It was like a 4 or 5 day shipping thing. I'm like, okay, I can wait. But I got impatient, so I actually went up to a Sally Beauty, and I walked in and I had my phone with me and Molly, and I clicked on the picture that I had taken with the filter on, and this girl was in there, and she had the brightest orange hair I have ever seen. Like, it makes SU orange seem dull. Okay, it was like the brightest. But she was all happy and bubbly and asked if she could, help me. And I showed her, and she said, "Oh yeah." So she takes me over, and she color matched that color from the picture. I almost identical. You couldn't even tell the difference when I first did the hair. And she helped me get the stuff, which developer I needed, and which so I could paint it on with a brush and mix it better, because it doesn't mix like the box dye in a little bottle. You kind of got to mix it and stir it better, because it's the professional dye. And it turned out so nice. It didn't smell like the box dye, because that stuff smells like dead ass. And it turned out so good, and it was just such a great fit for me. And we happened to be out and about the next day, so I went in and I was gonna thank her for it, but she wasn't there. So, but her boss was. So she took a picture of my hair and told her that I came in, and it made me feel good. I didn't spend a fortune. I did it myself instead of going to a salon, which I probably should do someday, but it was just a nice experience. I walked in with one expectation, and I actually got it. And I found the color I wanted, and it turned out great. And as you can see here, I gotta retouch it, but it turned out so good. I was like so impressed. I was like, I'm definitely going back.
Meanwhile, she's got this chick's phone number, and now they're dating.
Oh. Not quite. That's another thing. I really attract lesbians, so they tend to give me better service when I go places. Like, there's a particular worker at a DMV that is not local to me now. Okay, it's at a different one. Baby. Every time I went in that DMV to register or whatever, she was so nice to me. And meanwhile, my mother-in-law, who's this sweet little old lady, would go in, and she said that woman was the nastiest bitch.
Oh.
John went in, and she was nasty to him. I go in, and she goes, "Oh, come on, sweetie, I'll take care of you." And she actually opened up her window so she could wait on me. I'm like,
I'm sure it was the window,
so,
Becky. I'm sure.
I'm like, "Oh, I'm not really that way, but I'll flirt. I can flirt."
There you go.
So I got 2 good ones there. So you guys can go.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Jen, give me a story of a positive at any type of an establishment.
I wasn't planned on that. I know a restaurant that's really good
That'll
is
work.
Speedy. He's always
Oh, yeah.
you get your food fast, good price. I mean, he's very attentive because as soon as you put your glass down, he's ready to fill it up. But that's the. I mean, whenever we go somewhere, we have to try a Mexican place, and they just don't compare. So that's
You can say the name because it's a positive.
well,
It's a positive
the
review.
one in Waterloo, La Fiesta
La
Bravo.
Fiesta Bravo.
I hear the Seneca Falls one is good too, but I haven't been there yet. So
So George, have you been to that one in Waterloo
They like that.
by any chance?
No, I haven't. I have not.
Okay.
very good.
So what Jen is referring to is that they have a waiter in there. We call him Speedy because even before you sit down, he's over in the corner just like waiting to come over. And as soon as you sit down, he's like, "Do you know what you want? You know what you want to drink?" So that's why we call him
Was he
Speedy.
the one that waited
the
on
food
us
is
when we were there? Or was that a different guy? Did he wait on us when we were there?
Probably
so,
the
yeah.
owner is who I call Speedy, and he always takes everyone's order. He's like fast walker, just
He was-
wants everything done.
How they
I mean-
how they put up with the four of us that day, I don't know.
yeah, that was yeah,
You were getting a little loud.
boy. Whew. Little
Yeah,
bit.
but you can take me in public now because I take my medicine now, and it actually helps.
Oh,
All right.
shut the fuck up. Don't say that. These people gonna take you a different way.
No,
Don't say no.
no, they know. Poor Jeff had to
All
deal
right.
with it
I don't
firsthand.
give a
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah. I'm still in therapy. George, give me a positive story of an establishment.
All right. When I was discharged from the Army, I left El Paso, Texas, and I was driving home. It was brutally hot. So I got a hotel room until after dark. I was like, I'll be better to drive at night. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I was starving, and I saw the sign for a truck stop just off of the interstate. So I got off the interstate and went to it. It was open 24 hours. I went in, and this older woman was the waitress. She came out, and I said, "Do you still have the special that was on the board?" She said, "Absolutely." It was Salisbury steak, mashed potatoes, and corn. The corn was like a regular cereal bowl size bowl of corn.
Wow.
The mashed potatoes was on a large regular dinner plate filled with. And the Salisbury steak was like 9 inches wide, homemade. And I'm like, oh my! And she always came back to refill my drink, and she came over so many times during it. One thing I had to ask, I'm like, please tell me you have carry-out containers because there's no way I'm going to eat. I swear it had to be like 6 or 7 pounds of food at least.
Damn.
It was now granted this was 1994. It was like $5.
Oh Jesus!
I want a time travel.
I literally think I gave her $20 and I said I don't want any of it back because I'm like the service was great and the food was great and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and
Nice.
and it was somewhere I can't remember the name of the place but it was in the center of Texas, right in the middle of Texas, just off of the highway.
Nice.
That's
awesome.
It was great. I
Can we
mean,
please bring
Southern
back
hospitality.
7 and 8 pounds?
Southern
Go
hospitality,
ahead.
you know. It's Southern hospitality, you know.
Yep.
They make
Can we
sure
please
you're not
bring
hungry
back-
when you leave.
Yeah. $5 for 7 pound food. Can we please bring that back because
I know, right?
Going out to eat
Wow.
wasn't that bad before, and now to go out to eat, it costs almost the same as to go to the store and buy the stuff most of the time. Depending on how you buy it. I mean, I can go even just Walmart or Aldi's and I'll spend $50-$60, and I'm like, okay, that's enough for tonight and tomorrow, but I could have gone to McDonald's and gotten meals for everyone for $25. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yep.
Mm.
So I'm going to share a positive establishment, and I think we all can relate. going to a garage, a mechanic, right? You know, you kind of think like, fuck, you know, I mean, unless you're a car guy, which I am not, you know, I think sometimes the prices are outrageous and sometimes the quality of the work. Coincidentally, when I bought this house, and I had mom's car, the rack and pinion took a shit. Now I'm 10 minutes.
I want 20 of them.
What's up?
Oh, he's
So
showing me a video. Sorry.
Oh,
It's
so
still the
now
gold
I'm
retrievers.
gotcha. So where I live now, I'm 10 minutes from work, so I really couldn't walk. And a coworker had told me about going to this place called Anderson's Garage. It's right here in Penn Yan. And I'm like, okay, I wanted to talk to the guy, and I explained the situation. He's like, all right, you know, and the parts came in two separate things. The first part was about $400. He fixed that, and I said, okay, do you want me to pay for the whole thing? He's like, no, just pay for everything when you come back. I said, you're gonna let me leave on a $400 bill? He's like, yeah, I trust you. I have never taken my vehicle other than when I bought the truck and I got the free oil changes to anybody else. When you take your vehicle to Anderson's Garage, you're going to pay the going rate, but him and his staff are not going to screw you over. They are going to tell you exactly what's wrong. They're not going to charge you anything extra. They're not going to tell you that you need work done that you don't need done. And with that, I remember Jen's parents' truck. They went to was trying to put gas in it. It would only take like 35 cents. They stopped out there, and all he did was take an air hose and blow the. You know what I'm talking about, George, right? You know how there's a valve down in the filler neck.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was stuck. Yeah. I mean, my in-laws just stopped. He did it. He didn't charge him, and that's Becky. But so. I just know from past experiences when you go to almost any mechanic or garage, I think you get taken advantage of sometimes.
Sometimes
for this particular run, Kevin Anderson and his staff are top notch, and I highly recommend them. Seriously, I do.
We've got a local one here that I didn't buy my vehicle, this particular vehicle there. And I still take my vehicle to this garage because they're really good with us and they fit me in and they deal with John, they deal with me. And it was really funny is one of the mechanics the newer mechanics came in, and he's not a new guy. He's actually an older gentleman who's I stopped in last year because I had a flat tire. And I almost was going to buy a brand new tire because it was flat as a pancake. Actually, it was a little more than a year ago, but it's closer to 2. And I get in there, and the guy's like, I can plug that for like nothing. And I'm like, well, how long will plug last? He goes, the way I do it? He goes, probably forever. And the guy's talking to me like he knows me, and I'm like, I don't know who the heck this guy is. Turns out, yes, I do know who the guy is. It was Ray from Boyce's. When Boyce's closed and he retired,
Okay.
he works at a dealership or garage
Seneca
up here.
Auto.
Works at Seneca Auto up here. So Stu takes good care of us up here, and his mechanics Rick and Ray. I can't say anything bad about them. They fit me in real quick.
They don't go near my fucking car. Wait a minute.
Yeah, they give John a bunch of sass, and they always ask me how I ended up with him, and they're like, "You're so nice." I'm like, "Yeah, you don't know me very well." But once Ray's like, he's like, "Oh, that's Becky. I already know her." So he was making sure everything was perfect with my vehicles, and you pay
awesome.
for their work, but you know what? They're really good and quick. If they can't fit me in that day, they'll fit me in as soon as they can, and they drop everything, and I'm glad to have a good place like that. And for years it was always waiting for Charlie to get around to it, and now I'm like,
fuck that noise. Pick up the phone.
Take it to the mechanic. It's just take a lot easier. I don't have to wait 3 months to get my oil changed anymore. I just take it over, drop it off, and we're good. I think
it's really cool that there's a couple garages like what we just said that so like I can vouch for Anderson. Like they care like about what you're going to drive out of their shop, because you are driving like their billboard. Because if you say, hey, I had work done and they were really great, you know, people are going like, oh, then I'm going to go get a hold of them. But if you say, you know, so and so garage was horrible, you know, people probably won't go see them. So the reason why I did that story, so I'm going to start a bad reference, and I have to be careful not to say the name. So,
okay, I've got one of them too.
Hey, listen, Jeff.
I got
nothing, but you have to understand this. What's riding on those tires are two little kids. You fuck them up, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yep.
So you better do it right, and they know it. They know who I am.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. So here's my bad story. And so a little over a year ago, I was working 3 to 11, right? No, 1 to 9. And I had just come back from the gym, and I was coming down our road, and I pull into our driveway, and my check engine light came on. Now, if you're like me and you always had car problems, any type of a check engine light comes on, you freak the fuck out. I get out, and there is oil everywhere on my driveway, right?
Oh.
Jen's calling me because she can see on the security camera. The reason I started that part was because a month prior to that, I took it out to Anderson's garage, and he said that you're having a leak from your engine oil coolant line. It's under warranty, so I took it back to the place where I got the truck, and I said, listen, this is what my mechanic has said. Could you please check it out? I dropped my truck off at like 9 in the morning. At like 9:05 or 9:10, they called me and said, yeah, there's nothing wrong with your truck. I said, it's only been there for 5 minutes. Could you please check it out? I go back at like 3 o'clock, whatever, get the truck. They said, we couldn't find a problem. I said, oh, you know, possibly. All right. Stupid me. I never checked anything. But a month later, when I put it in the driveway, and oil went everywhere, the first call I made was to my mechanic, Kevin Anderson. And I said, hey, this is what happened. This is what you told me. I said, could this have gotten worse? And he said, yes. So I call this establishment, and the first words out of their mouth was, well, how many miles are on it? My response was, you're fucking coming to get it because it's sitting, I have a $30,000 piece of shit. Luckily, she said, no, we can't fix it. You have to take it to a Chevy dealership. I said, what? I go, don't you guys work on vehicles? Now, again, this is my only means of transportation. I need to have a job. She said, no, call this number. They will help you out. And I'm thinking like, well, why the fuck did I buy the truck off you guys? Whatever, it don't matter. So Traditions in Geneva, I'm sure you guys all know them. Excellent people. I highly recommend them. They came and picked up the truck and fixed it all within 23 hours. I called the head honcho of the dealership. I emailed them, never got one thing. I was so pissed that I screenshotted all the text messages and all the receipts from the previous work, and I emailed them to the top echelon, and I included everybody that I could find on their website.
It used to be Burdick Chevrolet.
Yeah.
My phone was ringing within 5 minutes, and I'm like, I don't understand how I brought my truck in, and then 5 minutes later they were saying that it was all done. I'm like, my truck is a piece of shit right now, which it was not, because Traditions fixed it, and Traditions never charged me. So my point is, if you take your vehicle to a dealer, make sure that they do the work, because their slogan was, we strive to meet your something like your superior whatever, and I included, I'm like, you guys fucking failed me miserably, and it is written, well, I don't go there anymore, but it's highlighted on my account that so and so is not allowed to touch my vehicle at all. So and so I included the screenshot where Kevin was like, hey, you know, your engine return line, your oil line is leaking, have to check them out. And so always keep text messages, receipts, and all that. Come in handy. So Jen, give me a bad experience. And boy, was I pissed that day, trust me.
No.
It was also the fucking It was also the draft. Go ahead, Jen.
I don't really have a bad I mean, it's a chain. It's Red Lobster. They've gone downhill in the years. The portion size, the prices have gone up.
Going there.
Yep.
Sorry.
Very tiny. Places that already add the tip to your bill. I
Oh, I
dislike
hate
that.
that.
I don't know if that's changed. We went to some place the other night. We got our own food, our own drinks, and there was a already calculated tip on there. I'm like, what am I tipping you for? I had to get everything. So, I mean, that's just changed. And
That's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the owners guarantee the servers how much money they're gonna fucking make and
Yeah.
how much they can write it off. That's what they do. And I said that's bullshit. And I was in the service for a long ass time. I got services out there, waitresses, they fucking suck. They wouldn't even be good to take out my trash. Sorry, I wouldn't give
Hi,
it to them.
John.
Here, we gotta put a face to a voice again. So
Yeah.
I forgot
Oh, wait.
what you look like.
You'll never forget my voice.
Wait. No, just to stay with what Jen was saying. Hold on. So we were. I can't say that, but we were in Geneva, and
oh,
we left a tip. This bitch of a waitress crossed out my amount and wrote a different amount.
No.
So when we got this, how did it go?
I crossed out
Oh,
the
we left
tip. I
cash.
put a 0 with an
Yeah.
X mark to it. And go on.
Yeah, no, but we left cash, but she hand wrote in a tip. I screenshot our bank account and I sent it to the owner, and he's like, yeah, we don't know what she did. And I'm like, well, I want my fucking money back. So he left $15 in an envelope under the register, and I stopped in there, and I go in, and the bartender's like, can I help you? I'm like, yeah, you probably have an envelope for me. People at the bar are looking at me like I'm shaking this establishment down. I'm like, listen. No, literally, the guy gets the envelope and hands it to me. He's like, okay. And I'm like, listen, it's not what you think, but I'm out of here. And I don't think we've only been back once. So yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it wasn't
bad.
it wasn't that much, but it was the point of it. Like, how many more people is she doing it to? Because she charged the credit card. She scanned our card and then
Yeah.
added a tip onto our card.
Yeah.
Okay, well, your service sucked. And you weren't worth $20, so.
Yeah. Go ahead, George. Give me another bad experience that you had with an establishment.
Let me tell you something. Right. A tip from a customer for a server is what they earn. And I'm going to tell you this right now, and I've seen this fucking happen. People came in, they ate, they didn't like the service. The bill was $100. They gave $100. The server walked out to the parking lot and said, what's wrong? You had bad service, something? Where's my money? Where's my tip? The woman said, she's a bitch about it. I liked her. I'm going to tell you this right now. You suck as a waiter. I'm not giving you a fucking tip, so kiss my ass. And she walked in the car. She didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
The tip is for the server to do their job. You don't do your job,
Yep,
go fuck
don't get
yourself.
a tip.
That's it.
And we're usually pretty good tippers.
Oh, yeah,
so
we
if we
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
Go ahead, George. Give me a bad
Okay.
experience. Thank you,
Okay,
John.
more on what you were saying about the mechanic. I bought a truck before my Jeep and from a dealer, and I took it back just to get an oil change. You know, they do their 87 point check or 92 point check or whatever. They came back and they said, these 5 things are wrong with your truck. These 2 are not covered by warranty. Well, they added up to like $3,500.
Oh,
I'm like, well, do the stuff that's covered by warranty and I'll schedule the other stuff.
yeah.
I left that Chevy dealership and went to Tradition and paid them $100, which he gave back to me when it was done. I said, check out my truck. Just look at it. Check everything out. He came back and he said, there's nothing wrong with your truck. And I'm like, oh, you mean my rack and pinion isn't falling apart? And he goes,
Oh, wow.
no. I was like, I know. I used to work as a mechanic in the Army.
Yep. Yep.
I know if my rack and pinion's falling apart, I'm gonna feel something.
Yeah.
Right.
You're
Something
gonna
didn't
feel
fit,
Feel
it.
a thing. So he gave me the $100 back. I've never gone back. Didn't even buy another vehicle from that company. I actually went to Jeep instead of Chevy.
Wow.
So,
That's awesome. I like that. You know, what I forgot to include with the tradition story is not only did they bring the flatbed and pick up my truck at no cost, because it was under warranty, they repaired and replaced everything, and they also cleaned off as much of the engine as they possibly could, and they brought my truck to me at work.
Oh,
No
that's
charge, none. So, yeah, I will give traditions 5 stars, absolutely, and I like the fact that they gave you your money back. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So,
Not doing it.
mm-hmm.
Miss Becky, give us the
Yeah.
bad story. Give us a bad story.
Okay. Well.
She met me. End of story.
Okay, show's over.
Yeah, he came into the store to get chicken wings. This bitch behind the counter that had a ball cap on and a braid, was just like
God.
such a nasty bitch, and he just kept bothering her. So she said, "Yeah, come live with me for 10 years." 11. Yeah. No, this one actually starts out good, but it ends up being bad over time.
Woo! Oh.
This was
Okay.
actually a car dealership. It was a smaller car dealership, and no, Krusty was actually bought off of a guy that I knew.
He was Krusty.
No, he was schizophrenic. That tells you exactly who it was. Anyway, we bought. Charlie was alive, and he bought me a truck, and it had come from an auction, and it needed a speed sensor because the speedometer didn't work.
Oh, yeah.
And we paid cash for this truck, like actual cash, to walk in with an envelope with that much cash. Okay. So they made sure that this thing was going to be working right for me, and they took it to another place, and they ended up finding out that the speed sensor was not for a Ford pickup that was in this truck. Even though it was a Ford pickup, it actually was the speed sensor they used was from a Ford Mustang. So we get that all carried away, and they took care of my truck for me, and we actually ended up buying a car from them too because I was pregnant, and this truck only had bucket seats. So pregnant with twins, you got to have something that's got seats. So we bought a car from them, and they were taking care of the car and the truck for me. And about the time that the kids were going to be born, Charlie had had it set up that he was going to take the truck to them with somebody, obviously, because he couldn't drive.
No,
Couldn't see, yeah. But it was going to get fixed, and we ended up getting it fixed, and they did great by me. Fast forward about a year and a half later, I need to get something done on the truck, and they take care of it. And this place had hired another mechanic who really didn't like me and really wanted one of Charlie's old junk trucks that were out behind our yard.
That wasn't gonna happen.
So 3 pulleys later, because he messed it up so bad that they were braking as I was driving the vehicle.
The money was coming out of my pocket.
Yeah.
This is why I got more pissed off.
So he went in, and they told him that my farmhand must have changed the pulley because that's not how this mechanic would have done it.
He's not that stupid, trust me.
I was like, I said, our farmhand was dumb, but he wouldn't mess with my truck because he liked driving it. So we ended up not taking the truck back. We ended up not paying them anymore because they kept saying that they wanted to charge us each and every time, but it was their mechanic who was putting stuff on wrong, so the belt would slip, and because he wanted me to sell one of Charlie's trucks from out back. So we don't go there anymore. We don't go there anymore I won't say anything bad about them,
I will.
but don't say the name. We're not saying the name. We're not even saying where they're located because that'll give it away. Major dead giveaway if I give it away. But anyway, you know, I'm still friendly with the owners, but we weren't gonna pay for the extra belts. And me being the bitch that I am,
Oh yeah.
and knew that this guy really wanted one of these pickups, you know, that Charlie had out back. I don't know if you knew where I used to live, out on 137 in Lodi. Well, there's a little scrapyard about a quarter mile down the road from me. So I had them come up and drag that down and smash the motherfucker.
Oh,
Guy,
Traded
but
it
he
in for
deserved it. He
junk.
deserved it.
guy that figured out
He
what was
deserved
actually
it.
wrong with her pickup truck that she just got. He's the same fucking mechanic that's dealing with her now at Seneca Auto. He's a good guy.
Oh yeah, the guy that actually figured out the speed sensor for me is the guy that works at Seneca Auto. But that was, you know,
Oh, okay.
but
Alright.
you know, the truck just sat there because I wasn't gonna keep putting new belts on it and having this mechanic purposely put them on wrong or do something wrong so it would fall off, so I'd have to call them. So they'd have to fix
Right,
it again. So I'm not fixing it.
It's-
I
it's
beat the
best-
fuck out of that thing before it left, though, on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when he was doing it on purpose.
He was
so-
doing it on
Right.
purpose so I would sell him the truck.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm not going to sell you the truck.
Yep.
And he's like, well, Charlie's dead. He's not going to fix it now. And I said, guess what? You're not getting
Wow,
it either.
Jesus Christ.
That's
But
not
I
a
am-
way to get it.
But I am good friends with this person's sister-in-law. So she told her husband, who's his brother, who actually does not like him very much. And he, you know, kind of let him know what I did, which this guy definitely took pride in telling his brother what a jerk he was, because he does not
Awesome.
what
Good.
he does not like his own brother, if that tells you anything. So
Oh, interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh
Um,
yeah. But I'm not saying
so-
names. I would not
No,
say names.
so-
I'm not even saying where it's located, because it would be a dead
I'm glad
giveaway.
that we all had a story about, you know, shitty-ass like garages and mechanics. I did not think that we
Oh,
would
yeah.
have that along the same stories. But so George, give me another instant where you had a positive experience with any type of establishment.
Oh no, let me think.
We
I
all
didn't
know
have a
Becky
second.
hangs out at Show World, so
So Show World gives you top quality
Mail.
mail. They give you great
Becky, that
service.
They got
Becky,
the
that was a
asphalt
fire
deck penciled
hydrant.
on the wall.
Okay, no, go George, go.
Yeah. I didn't have a second really good one picked out.
Go ahead,
Uh,
George.
Oh.
I still can't believe she fit that though. But anyways, go ahead.
Martha's truck. That was a good experience. We told the guy who was doing a demo.
I'll do that later.
Or you know, George, if you don't have a positive one, you can share
Another bad one.
negative one.
Well,
It's your choice, George.
I think what I'll do is I'll explain our one dog, the one that you saw last time that stuck his face in the camera. He had to have knee surgery, and we took him to a place that's near the mall. I can't. Colonial, I think. They did, when they came into the room to inspect him to see what before they took him for x-rays and everything they needed, he wouldn't let them near us. Our dog wouldn't let the vet near us.
Wow.
And the guy said, I got an idea, and they took him into the hallway, and he was fine. The fact that they would take him out of the room to make him comfortable and not think that he has to protect us.
Oh,
I think. And they treated him great when he was there. He actually had to have the bone and that holds his kneecap in place wasn't deep enough. So his kneecap kept popping off.
Oh,
But they actually had to go in. They actually had to go in and make the bone so the knee would stay in place. But they did a really good job, and they took really good care of him. And like I said, the fact that they took him out of the room, realizing that he wasn't
was getting
attacking
upset.
them, he was just protecting us from
Right.
them.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool that one, your dog thought that you guys were in danger, he's going to protect you, and two, the vet, had an idea of how to rectify the situation, and
Right.
I just learned that dogs have knees. So now after the show, I'm going to go examine Dozer because I got to find out where his kneecap is. So,
it's the
but
thing
that's
that
cool
lands
though.
on his knee, on his leg.
Yeah, it's from the upper, because they have like 3 sections of leg. So it's from the upper to the second section. That's where the kneecap is.
Oh, okay.
Upper second section. Okay, gotcha. I will look for it.
As
Fellas, get ready. We're doing biology.
a matter of fact, look at his scar. Can you see the scar?
Oh,
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, that's the scar from the surgery.
oh.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool. Great vet.
Yeah.
Very good.
Mhm.
Good. You can say the name of the vet if you remember it, because it's a
I
positive
want
story.
to say it's Colonial, but I don't remember.
Okay.
I've heard
If
some
you've
good
ever
things
been
about
up,
them.
if you ever been to the mall, it's the vet that their sign is a pineapple.
Okay.
I've
Okay.
heard about them. I've never been there
Yeah.
though.
All right. Cool. All right. Jen, give us a positive time that you were
I
at
don't
any type
have
of
any.
establishment.
I don't have enough.
You don't have any? Do you have a negative?
I had to change dentists a few years ago and never been to him before, new patient. I go into the room
Oh,
and and he walks in with the assistant, whatever, and he's just talking to her about his weekend, this and that, his plans, blah, 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 and doesn't even say a word to me, sits down and starts the examination. No, hi, hello, nice to meet you. And that was it for me and him, because unprofessionalism, nope. So
Yeah.
I went to him that one and only time, and that was it. And he dilated my eyes and said, okay, drive home. I'm like, luckily my parents were still in Geneva, and they came and got me and drove me home because I couldn't even see.
oh, I know those.
Okay. Becky. I forgot your name for a second. I apologize. I'm still thinking about you and that I'm still thinking about you and that fire hydrant. But give me a positive story.
A positive story. A positive story.
Establishment.
I actually have one of my vet, believe it or not. George just reminded me of these guys. They are fantastic. They are a little pricey, and they're up here in Central Falls, but they are worth every cent that I have spent there.
You are kissing fucking ass.
Yes, I am. I'm going to kiss ass. It's All Creatures Veterinary Hospital. When we
My
first,
parents were there.
I saw them there with a cat once. I don't know if they knew it was me. When I first called, when I first got Honey, we were told that she had a 4 out of 6 heart murmur. And so we got a big discount on her from her breeder. And I was like, you know what? I've got heart issues. Let's take a chance on the dog. So we got the dog and brought her home. And I called the vet and told, the receptionist what was going on. And she said, okay, I'll put you in the book. And she had me for like 2 weeks out. And I wasn't thinking anything major. And about 10 minutes later, I got a phone call back from this receptionist. And she said, Greg would like to see her now. Can you bring her in now? So I said, okay. Well, apparently 4 out of 6 is like a potentially fatal heart murmur. So he's in there, and Greg has a very soft spot for golden retrievers. They're his favorite dog. And he met Honey, and she's the sweetest thing in the world. She was even just tiny, wasn't tiny, but we bring her in, and he's listening for like 5-10 minutes to her heart. And I'm like freaking out thinking he's going to give me some really bad news.
Mm.
And he says, no. He says, she doesn't have a heart murmur. I said, okay. He says, and I seriously doubt she outgrew it already. And I seriously doubt she ever had one. Because apparently the vet that she was diagnosed at had already misdiagnosed a couple other puppies that
Oh.
he has seen with heart murmurs. And, it's something that happens. You've got all those puppies. It's their first trip to the vet, and they're all making noise. And, you hear all the extra swooshing noises of the tails and the panting. It can happen. So, this doctor helped me with that. He also let me know that she had an issue in her private area. Poor little thing. She had extra skin folds, and she had to have an episiotomy where they kind of pull them back because she was getting urine trapped in there, so she was getting urinary tract infections. So this actually was saving her from something bad happening later in life, because once you get so far and you have repeat urinary tract infections, those antibiotics don't work, and it can get bad pretty quick. So when she got spayed, she had the episiotomy, which is where they do the nip and tuck, and that dog had to stay for 3 days and nights.
With a cone on its head.
And I was devastated because this is my puppy. None of us were the same while she was gone. But this vet calls and texts you with updates throughout the day. And
Nice.
it was so sweet. And when I came to pick her up, they had the cone on her, and she was happy to see me, but she didn't want that cone, but she had to wear it for like 3 more weeks. Poor thing. She destroyed things with it, and we didn't get our deposit back because she snapped it. But you know what? They call me, they text me every time she needs her meds redone, because we do the monthly
Awesome.
flea and tick prevention and the heartworm and intestinal parasite prevention. Then, matter of fact, today they texted me this morning and said, "Hey, we can have it ready by after 1 today if you want to come pick it up." And I'm like, "Yep, definitely do it." And they're really sweet, and their receptionists are great, and the vet techs are great, and both vets are great. They both love Honey. They actually
They fight
they
together.
fight over who's going to be with my dog. There's one time I actually saw Doreen reaching for Honey's folder when I was in the exam room, and I saw Greg grab the folder out of her hand and kind of like shove himself into the room with me. And I'm like, oh, okay. But they're really nice. I get along with them. They're very personable. They make sure everyone's comfortable there. If they know that the dog's going to be getting shots or whatever, they give them a lick mat so they can it so that calms them down before they get the shot. They give them painkillers beforehand too, so the dog's not in pain afterwards. And they gave me a sedative for when we have to deal with fireworks. So because they know we don't want to deal with.
Nice.
She trembles like nothing, like crazy. So, but I'm just glad we've got a good vet that's nearby. The night she swallowed a rock, I was able to text him, and he was like, "Yeah, it should pass." And I'm like, "Okay, I hope so," because I've had dogs die of blockages before, so I didn't really, the one that ate my underwear actually started eating my socks, and he had 3 socks in his stomach when we opened them up, and there was nothing to do. Yeah. So, but it was a really good experience with them, and I can't say bad things about them because, I know where they are. I know what they're doing. They're not the cheapest vet around, but they're not the most expensive either. Because you go to Cornell, holy crap!
Yeah.
When I had my Akita, Cornell wanted $2,500 up front to tell me what they were gonna do, and all they did was give him. Yep, they wanted it up front, and then they said, "Well, there's not much we can do, so we'll give you a discounted rate on euthanasia." And I'm like, I pulled him out of there. I mean, he ended up having to be put down anyway, because he was 13 years old. He's 130 pounds. He was a beast, and at the time, we ended up having to put him down. But the vet that we took him to that time, she was bold and said, "You know what? your dog's trying to die. And I'm like, don't tell me that. He's my baby, you know? But she actually made things a little better to make you feel better about the transition, which is hard on anybody. I
Right.
don't wish that on
Yeah.
anyone. But Honey is she's just been laying here by my feet this whole time. She just wants mom. If I get up to leave the room, she will follow me. So
It's funny when
Brothers
she goes
over
on the
there.
toilet.
yeah, it's funny when I go on the toilet. Yeah, I got a full audience. Yeah.
Yep.
I always tell Jen about I know vets know what they're doing. I think when you take a pet to a vet, and I'm not trying to rhyme. I think it's real. I hate it because an animal can't tell you what is wrong, and but the fact that there's some good vets out there,
She's like,
especially text you and stuff like that. That's awesome. And I wish animals could talk. I think it would make it a lot easier. But they don't. I'm just gonna share something just really recently. For months, I've been wanting a new tattoo. I've called around a few places. I've emailed. I've Facebook messaged. And they kept on saying, "Oh, there's Honey. Look how
special doggy
gentle."
cookie. These are actually
Yep.
carob and vanilla, but she likes them.
Casey wants it too.
Oh.
We have to hide them because Casey will eat them. They're dog cookies.
And every place was like, yeah, we'll set up a time. And I'm like, okay, I'll set up a time. And I never hear back from them. And Jen and I we were down at the Rusty Pig, and I said, hey, I'm just gonna get a hold of so and so. It's 5:30. I'm gonna stop in after dinner. But this particular establishment was closed at 5:30, and the person said, I'll get a hold of you Monday. I said, okay. Well, I got sick and tired of waiting, so I started asking around where people were going, and a couple of our friends, Beth Brown and one of Jen's best friends, Becky, would go to this place right in Waterloo. I messaged the people. They said, hey, send me what you want. Look at that, stealing the show.
Yep.
Gotta have Honey on.
And as you all know, I got a new tattoo. I got a new tattoo this past Saturday, waiting on like 5 months of people trying to get back to me, and I highly recommend going to see Dale and Johnny Inc. in Waterloo. I highly recommend them. They're great. Their prices are great. Obviously, you guys have seen my tattoo. He did 3 cover-ups, so I highly recommend it. So, Dale and Johnny Inc., Waterloo, right down from Becky's house.
I've heard of them. It doesn't Missy. Did Missy Griswold work there? Or does she still work there?
Oh, I know.
There is a Griswold. Yes.
Yeah, Missy Griswold. Yeah.
Yep. And
Okay.
and not only do they do excellent work, but the atmosphere there, they talk to you like you're a person. You're not just there so they can collect a paycheck. And they care about their work, which I'm sure every artist does, but Johnny, the one who did my tattoo, he loves what he does. And he puts a lot of time and effort and passion in it. So if you're looking for a great tattoo, seriously check out Dale and Johnny Inc. So and I would pull my shirt up, but I don't know if you guys can see it. Obviously it's all over social media, but he did an awesome job. And I got in with it. I got in within a matter of weeks when I couldn't even get a setup time. And all of these 3 tattoo places that I was calling, they don't do a free consultation. I was talking to Johnny through Messenger, and he was telling me yes, no, stuff like that. So that they just are not out to make money, and the quality of the work, excellent. So, so this is the part of the show where I'm going to just open the floor one more time for anybody to give another negative or another positive review from wherever, whenever. Becky, I'm so glad that you kept your shirt on. George, I'm glad that you kept your pants off.
Oh. I did have a very bad experience at a doctor's office. No, this is not the gynecologist I already told you about. That was a very good experience. But anyway, he praised me. Yeah, this was probably about, I don't know, probably about 20 years ago. I was at my primary care doctor's office, and I hadn't been feeling good for a while, and something wasn't quite right. I had a whole bunch of symptoms, and this doctor, who I had been seeing for about 2 years and who I thought was nice, and this was before I was pregnant. This was before the depression hit. This was before the depression medications made me gain weight. This was before all this. So I was about 100 pounds less than I am now. Okay, so by all means, I'm technically big, but he looked at me and he said, "I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. You're morbidly obese."
Oh,
Oh,
I walked
Nice.
out of there. Now I'm close to 6 foot tall. You guys know I'm not exactly short. I'm 5'10",
Right.
5'11", depending on how I'm standing that day. And I was about 100 pounds less. And so I was not small, but I wasn't, huge. And I said, "You're morbidly obese, and there's not really anything I can do unless you go on a diet."
mm,
So I left.
wow.
And I ended up going to a different doctor, and what actually it was two of the medications that the doctor that couldn't help me, they were interacting with each other.
mm.
Nice.
Yep. And then I ended up having to go back to that practice, but it's got more than one doctor there. When I called, I said I need another primary care physician because the one that I was going to closed. And they said, okay. And I said, under no circumstances do I want this doctor. So he is not allowed to work on me, even if it's, he's the only one
Emergency.
on call at the doctor's office that day. Nope. I have a certain one I see, and I see her team. I don't see anything that has to do with that doctor. And I
That's
won't.
pretty shitty though. That was his immediate diagnosis. Without that's pretty shitty. And the fact
Yeah.
that your two meds were fighting
Two of
each
the
other,
me-
so to speak.
Two of the meds that he prescribed for me were interacting with each other, and that's why I felt drained and crappy, and
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything. I was like, because this wasn't me. This was back when I was 20 years younger, so obviously I was supposed to have a little more energy than I do right now. I didn't have kids. I hadn't been pregnant. I was just doing my thing, and the meds were interacting. I felt so much better after I stopped taking the one that I felt I didn't really need anyway. But
I ironically with what you just shared, was it a year ago, Jen, with Dozer, when they prescribed the same medication, just different dosage, and it was screwing up Dozer. And until Jen and her mom researched, I mean, I could be wrong how I'm saying it.
Yeah, I
It
love
was
Google.
the same exact fucking it was the same exact medication. So George, just in case you don't know, so Dozer was having seizures, and they prescribed him. They overdosed him, and then they prescribed Galapan or something. I don't even remember what it is, but it was basically the same friggin' thing as his prescribed seizure meds. And we couldn't figure out what was going on with Dozer until Jen and her mom basically researched all this shit, and the Galapan was doing the exact same thing that the seizure med was. And I'm like, I specifically told the vet, I'm like, listen, I'm not a pill guy, but I don't want pills to interact with each other. I mean, are these okay to take together? She's like, oh yeah, they're fine. Well, no, because and I don't. This isn't the part of the show where I want to bring out tears. There was a 36-hour window where we thought Dozer died. I mean, he was just so lifeless. And once we took him off the Galapan and we split his one seizure meds in half, he has not had that. So
Knock
the
on
one
wood.
thing I hate, especially
so
Yeah.
far,
the one thing I hate, especially because the pets, because they can't tell you, is like when doctors say, "Oh yeah, it's fine, go ahead and take them," and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you start like, "Yeah, that's fucking horrible." Like, I don't, I won't do it. Nope.
Right.
And as you can see, the sun's in my eyes. So, but yeah, it was just really weird that you shared that story, and I instantly just thought of what we had to go through with Dozer, and I'm telling you, like,
Well,
you know,
yeah.
I know doctors have a lot going on, and when they prescribe multiple medications, that fucks with your body. And we saw it firsthand with Dozer. And like I said, I'm not going to make this a sentimental show, but like we thought, like for 36 hours, Dozer was going to die. But luckily, you know, my moneymaker is waiting for his treat. So, that's what I call him. I call him my moneymaker. But so George, Jen, you have anything to add?
No.
We're good.
What's that? Oh
No, we're good.
Okay, well, I want to thank Becky, Jen, and George for coming on our show. I appreciate it. I know you guys all had long days, and I know Becky's just thinking about that fire hydrant. I know she
Fire extinguisher.
fire extinguisher. What did I say? Fire hydrant.
Fire hydrant. That's awful big there, buddy. I don't think I could do that.
Well, as we say, our catchphrase is stumbling in life. We, you know,
Be
we just make it up.
careful.
Listen,
Be careful.
I want to thank you all.
Do that, brother.
Get me in the mood.
I couldn't hear him, but I want to thank you all for coming on the show. Appreciate you sharing some experiences, some good, some bad. I'm glad that we all could share the same stories. But I thank you all. Thank you for coming on JK'z Rewatchable Hour. I would give you all another shirt, but you already have one. But when I place another order, I will make sure everybody gets one of these shirts. So thank you. I don't know what that was, but it sounded like you got a horse somewhere.
Back.
No, the mail's his. He's probably used it already.
But, all right. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to have Craig back. So we'll have my co-host back. And as he would say, if you find yourself stumbling in life, you have stumbled upon the right podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show. Love you guys. We'll see you later.
Love you guys. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Bye.